we just start for 15 minutes?
Oh, sure. I'm okay. Alhamdulillah. I just also want to talk to you about something. You remember brother Salahuddin Patel? Brother Patel?
Oh,
It-
the brother from IERA from
yeah.
UK.
Yes. The
Yeah.
Indian guy, like,
Oh,
with the beard.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
so,
I remember.
so first time we went there. First time Ira went there. So there's
Taiwan.
brother Isa, Melo, brother Fadli, myself, and brother Salahuddin. So Salahuddin
Mm,
was at that time, he was the, I think, global outreach manager. So he managed all the IRA outreach specialist. He is now he has put up one presentation about da'wah to Hindu, da'wah
mm,
to Hindu, or knowing Hinduism. So he wanted he asked me if I can organize uh, his talk on Zoom, or maybe he will use Google Meet. So he want to make like it's like a 1 or 1.5 hour talk
mm.
online. So he's trying to. He asked me if I can get audience. So I was thinking like
I'm
if
interested to join it.
yeah. So if you have like this will not be like this one. Like this one is like on continuous training, but it's like a public lecture. So it's more like a lecture. But of course, it can be interactive. There will be Q&A at the end. So understanding Hinduism, or the topic that he put last time in the poster is da'wah to Hindu, but maybe I'll just change the topic into like a more neutral one. If you say dawah to Hindu, then maybe some Hindu doesn't like it, or maybe the Indian guy doesn't
Mm,
like it. But we will say like understanding Hinduism, or understanding Hindu, the basic of Hindu, or
mm,
something like that. So I will make like by Mr. Patel, so nobody knows, like nobody knows that it's Muslim or not. But the talk will
mm,
be the basic, and we understand Hinduism so that we can communicate better with our Hindu friends or Hindu neighbors, or whenever we have the chance to talk to Hindu people.
yeah, yeah.
So it's
It
good
will
to know.
be interesting topic, I think.
So that one, uh, what we tried to do was to have, okay, one session we- for Malaysia, and then if you can get like Indonesian people, doesn't necessarily Indonesia in in in
In
Taiwan, but
Malaysia also okay. We can understand.
yeah.
I can join
So
the other Malaysian friend.
of course it's gonna be in English.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be in English, inshallah. Sutherland Patel doesn't speak Malay; he speaks English,
Oh,
British
eh,
English.
where is come from? UK?
He's from the UK. He was born and
Oh,
raised in the UK.
originally born from UK.
Yeah,
Oh,
but he was a Hindu background before
mm.
he became Muslim.
I saw that. Yeah, maybe he was born in India or his family from India.
Yeah, his family. I think his family's from India, inshallah. So Patel. So in fact, he's actually texting me now. So I said I'm busy at the moment, but I will talk to him.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe you can get, if you can get your own crowd, and then it doesn't matter. But if we have like around 10 or 15 people, then we can make it. So we
Oh,
can
yeah.
organize one.
For me, um, it's quite difficult to find people who have a really commitment to do
Yeah.
kind of the Java training or activities. Yeah, since they said that they're quite busy.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, no,
Quite
no problem. So I
frustrating.
was just wondering. So at least we can try. Right? We can try and ask.
Yeah.
So I will also maybe I'll ask Brother Aziz. I will ask. Maybe other groups that we have, our friends in Taiwan.
Oh yeah, in yeah 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 yeah.
So you can ask all these
老
people.
师，
Yeah, you
所谓
can
的
ask
老
Lao
师。
Shi, can ask these people, inshallah. And even I think,
Oh yeah, maybe if we have a poster, we can share it to
yeah,
the TMT group. Yeah, in the
mm,
line.
mm. But we don't
Mm,
just, if
fun.
possible, like we take attendance. We take names that who's gonna join. Like we take names for the Mandarin class.
Oh.
It's like when we take names, so when they write their name, so like 5 minutes before the lecture, or maybe the 3 hours before the lecture, we can send a reminder. Okay, remember, you give your name. So I'm just reminding you the
Yeah.
talk will be tonight. This is the link.
Even for the modern class right now, the total student is just two.
But
Me and
Alhamdulillah, like for me,
Mariam.
I would like a free private class, a free private Mandarin class with a
Yeah,
Mandarin
that's
Muslim.
why it's like a kind of the private class because just me and Sister Mariam who are joined.
Definitely, if I'm there, I will definitely join.
But yeah, for me, I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But still, you still have to try to nurture new members because you're gonna leave. I'm not sure what's your plan, but you have to have someone who can replace you when you leave. So it's also very important for you to groom young people, or like new students below you. You can become their mentor, or you mentor new students. So there is a continuity. Assalamualaikum, brother Husni Mubarak. Husni Mubarak,
Assalamualaikum
are
brother
you?
Muslim.
Can you hear me? Are you online? The Kusnandar is still very silent. Maybe the mic is off, or maybe he's not there. I'm, I'm wondering, it's either he's not there or the mic is having some problem.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah, it's
maybe.
already 9:05.
Mas Husni ada di situ kah? Mungkin bisa di unmute perkenalan.
26 October.
Oke.
So, if all in the,
Oke,
I have
siapa?
actually I have two slides. I have a slide in Malay. I have a slide in English.
Hmm.
So, but actually, if everybody is not participating, I don't know uh, whether it has any different or not. It's the same. Because I know you can speak. You are comfortable with English as well. You're used to English. Oh,
Hmm?
Husni Mubarak, he left.
Oh yeah, I think you have some trouble with the connection. Maybe
Okay,
I'm not
maybe
sure.
maybe maybe he'll
Try
come
to
back.
ask him.
Okay, let's not waste any time. Okay, brother Novi, let's do a recap. What do you
Mm.
remember from our last session?
Mm-hmm. Last sessions we are study about the revelation, the criteria for the revelation, um, Like, why do we need to have revelation? And then the akhirat, like the purpose of life is for test, and the life is temporary.
Mm.
And I hope this information will be understood. Like,
Welcome back, Husni Mubarak.
bersama
Uh, Assalamu'alaikum. Sorry, I have a problem with my connection before.
No problem. Are you using your data, mobile data, or Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi.
Using Wi-Fi.
We are all using Wi-Fi because we live in dormitory.
Because in Taiwan you have the unlimited data plan, right? Like,
Yes.
Yeah,
well,
because I moved to another area because of that, so the connection is not good.
okay, InsyaAllah. Now it's good now.
He's a quite active
Hmm.
in organization.
Husni
He's the
Mubarak,
vice president.
Right?
he's the president,
No,
Vice.
no, no.
vice
I'm
president.
as just a volunteer, not a president, just volunteer.
Alhamdulillah. Very significant position. You're working
Yeah,
for
so
Allah.
polite.
Okay. Husni Mubarak, ada ya yang sesi yang lepas?
Hmm,
What?
Husni udah gabung berapa kali? Ini yang pertama kah?
Gabung ini
Iya.
ketiga kalau gak keempat.
Oh ya, this is what
Tapi putus-putus gabungnya biasanya.
the third
Uh,
meeting.
I think it's third, yeah. But I cannot full for each time.
it's okay. Alhamdulillah, the most important is you try your best.
Alhamdulillah, Bismillah.
Uh, oh, where are you right now? Just now. Mm,
Sorry for the ringing sound.
mm. Okay, since we are actually way above the schedule, I would say we make it interactive. If we have the session, we just do a recap of what we have. We can discuss what we have learned instead of me continuing to the new subject. Maybe we can just talk about what we have learned and how can we use them in our actual da'wah situation, inshallah. So, if Husni, if you can mute, if you're not talking, you can mute your mic. When you want to talk, then you can unmute so that the for Sister Novi is actually I don't have I think you're in your room, so there's no outside sound. If you open your mic, also it doesn't matter. But I think Husni is somewhere outside
Ini
because I can.
posisinya ada background ini mungkin napas atau apa gemeresek gitu.
Oh, okay. Uh, okay. We have discussed last week about Gorab. We have finished. Gorab is actually one of the key of awakening the fitrah. So I will go one by one. Recap a very very quick one. Kita dah faham. We already know what is da'wah. Da'wah is to invite people, to call people, to menjemput people to know about Allah. And then we believe that everyone is born with fitrah. We believe that we all have fitrah. Everybody around us, the people, all the people, whether you're Indonesian, Taiwanese, you're Muslim, you're non-Muslim, you're born into Hindu family, Buddhist family, atheist family, everyone is born upon fitrah. So the people that you see every day when you go out in Taiwan, for example, All these people that you are meeting every day, that you bump into every day, they all are people of fitrah. They have fitrah inside inside their heart. Everybody is born upon fitrah. Kulli mauludin yulidun ala fitrah. Every baby is born upon fitrah. Fa'abawai, and then the parents, and because of the society, because of the surrounding, because of the community, because of maybe the education, that people, the fitrah is clouded. Jadi fitrah itu dikelabui, ditutupi, dikunci, is locked. So what we are trying to do when we do da'wah, we understand when we do the da'wah is invitation. We are inviting people to who? To Allah. So we understand before we invite people to Allah, we ourselves have to know Allah. So we have discussed that we have to know Allah. Allah is worthy of worship. Allah is one. Allah has beautiful names. Allah is perfect. Allah is the creator. Allah who's the one who give us this life. Allah is the one who nurture us, who maintain this universe. So Allah is one in His authority. So everything that's to know Allah. And then who are we inviting? So we are inviting people. So to know, to do da'wah, you have to know what you are calling people to, which is Allah. You have to know Allah. But the other part is you have to know people as well, because people are not robot. It's not like you memorize some script, you probably watch some speakers online, famous, you memorize some answers and then you give to them and then they become Muslim. It's not like that. So we have to understand that we are doing da'wah to people, and people have akal, they have ruh, they have the soul, they have emotion, they have their sentiment, so they have akal and everything. So these are people. So we have to also understand people. Okay, and after that, we know about Allah. We have to know about people, because we are have this is the input that we want to give. These are the people that we are calling. So the da'wah has to have these two elements: knowledge about Allah, knowledge about people. So we understand the fitrah. So when we do da'wah, what we are actually want to do, what do we actually want trying to do here is not to convert them to become Muslim, because Allah give hidayah. We do not give hidayah. But we are trying to do is to actually unlock the fitrah. So we have categorized, there are six keys that we have identified that can help uncloud or unlock the fitrah. So one of the key is rationality. So salah satu kunci yang boleh digunakan untuk membuka fitrah manusia itu, yang pertama yang telah kita bincangkan iaitu gora. So gora is the key of rationality. Bagaimana menggunakan rasional akal, penghujahan akal untuk membuka. Baru dia rasa, oh, yeah, I think God makes sense. Oh, I think God is one. Tauhid makes sense. Oh, I think, yeah, there should be a revelation. And then, oh, okay, that's why there must be a prophet. There must be a medium in which the message is being delivered. So that is the Gorab. So GORAP. So God, we have to prove, we try to show that the God is rational. We try to bring them to think and to show them rationally the existing of God is much more rational than the absence of God. And then the second would be, and then we say, okay, there is a God. If there is a God, is it two gods, maybe three gods, maybe four gods, maybe 12 gods, maybe there is many gods, or there is only one God. So we have to show the case. When we say God, what is God? We try to say, okay, God is all powerful. Can they be more than one all powerful? Can there be more than one all strong? Can there be all more than all wise? So we try to show, what about if a company, can they have two bosses? If you're driving, can you have two drivers in a car? What will happen? So there must be, when you say God as in the ultimate creator, the sole creator, the most powerful, the most knowledgeable, the most wise. It must be one and uniquely one. So we show that we already discussed that, and then we say this discussion about God or whether God is one or true cannot really be proof. We cannot really be sure. It's just a discussion. If you just depend on your mind, you can depend on rationality or logic akal saja. We cannot really, really 100% sure how this God looks like or how this God what is the name of this God, what does he want from us, or what is the characteristic of the God. Is the God is all powerful? Is God all loving, or God is all hateful? Is God all anger, or is God all merciful? How do we know this attribute of God? We can only guess at this point. But to truly know who is God, the only possibilities is to have revelation. Revelation means from what word? Revelation, wahyu. In English, we use revelation. In Arabic, we say wahi or wahyu. In Malay, we say wahyu. So there's only the way is God Himself have to come and tell us. So God has to reveal, whether reveal Himself or reveal a message. So we believe there must be a revelation. Only revelation uh, can actually tell us who is God and what God wants from us. So there must be revelation, which is wahyu. And then the revelation that we believe from God that we still have until today in its original form is the Quran. So that is the sequence. We try to talk about God, and then we talk about oneness of God, and then we said, okay, now there must be revelation. We talk about Quran. So there's many things. It's a big topic, but that is the frame that we want to work with. And then, okay, the Quran, who brings the Quran? Who brings the revelation? So it was brought through messenger, a prophet, nabi, ataupun rasul. So we say, okay, who claimed to be rasul in history? So we can go by one, but we believe that Prophet Muhammad is the final messenger. And then we examine, we do a test. Okay, who is Prophet Muhammad? Is he a liar? Na'udzubillah. Is he deluded? Is he crazy? Na'udzubillah. Or is he talking the truth? So this is the frame of Goret. The kesimpulan daripada Goret itu ialah dia menyusun it helps us to organize our thought when we talk to non-Muslims. So sekarang contohnya uh, kalau kita keluar dengan kawan non-Muslim, maybe two-person. Uh, for you, like many Indonesian, they know how to write Arabic calligraphy or Jawi. So maybe you make some friends. Oh, I want to learn how to write calligraphy. So you make friends. So when you make friends, you go out together, you go for drink, you go to for boba, bubble tea or something, and then you have a chance to talk. And then she start asking about your culture, your religion. So how do you make use of that? So instead of just talking about Islamic culture, sedekah, Hari Raya Aidilfitri, but what we want to really, when we want to give da'wah, we want to bring the topic to this goret, the topic within the goret, because da'wah is actually talking, inviting people to Allah. And then to become Muslim, people have to accept there is no La ilaha illallah and Muhammad Rasulullah. And the main topic that is included in this is this Gorat. God, oneness of God, Wahyu, which is the Quran, and then Rasulullah. And all the other things you can discuss after these main four things are being discussed, are being understood. Because other than that, it's not, it's da'wah bilha, it's da'wah, but you're just giving them information. You are not giving the invitation. You're just sharing with them what Islam culture is. You give them information, but you're not really inviting. So what we want is actually we want to get to the point where you can invite them. If they accept Allah is there, if they accept that it's one, you can accept, yeah, revelation makes sense. You can accept Muhammad, yeah, he's talking, he's telling the truth. So these are the things. So actually we can make a exercise for this. Normally we make an exercise. So I will ask everyone if you are listening. I just want you to write, or you can, because we are just four people. Mm, if you can just unmute and say it, or you can just write in the chat. What are the most uh, difficult question that non-Muslim ask you? Not your own question, not your own question, but what are the question that your non-Muslim that you always receive from non-Muslim? Hmm.
Yes, Brother Husni, please. You would like to
Uh,
share something?
Actually, I have question from my friends. It's talk about foods because yes, we know that for the pork is any other religion that say that pork is not good for his religion. But how about the what is it? For example, like a beef. For example, like chicken. Why we should be said kalamullah? Why you should be said what is it? Lafal of Allah before we diet the make cut off his leg.
Animal?
So how about another? Actually, how to explain to our non-Muslim friends why Muslims should be select for what is it? What the the meat or the beef or chicken?
Mm.
Actually, I have not correct or good answer for this question.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe we can connect it with some biology or another or scientist or another for make sense. This is the right of Muslim, the right of Islam, the rule of Islam. Because of that, we can blah 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 gitu. For example.
Okay, it's a very good question. Okay, I take note for that. So the question, if everybody understand the question, he's asking like, uh, we do not eat pork, and then he said that yeah, some other religion also don't eat pork as well. But then the real question is like, why Muslim is so particular in choosing which meat you can eat, and why there's like chicken, beef, you have to recite the name of Allah, and then you can eat. Why is it so particular? Maybe that's the question.
Yes, yes. That's the question.
Is
Yes,
that the question? Yeah, right.
Why should follow
right.
the way, the Islamic way,
Okay.
for castrating
So
animals?
what about other people? Any other question you want to share? That's one. We have. I can have another one, or nobody else has a question. Iwan, maybe.
And Baba Iwan,
So Kusnandar, if Kusnandar is still there, I'm not
Syander,
sure.
Mas Yakin.
Okay. So the question again, I can repeat. What are the question that you always that you think your non-Muslim friends always ask you, or you get from non-Muslim? What are the common question that you get, or question that you find difficult to answer? Okay, one, two, three, four, five. Okay, then we go with the question just now, Husni Mubarak. That's why what we try to teach in this course is Bangsa Da'wah. And when we teach the Gorak, actually the Gorak method is designed to address question like this. Because in reality, we do what we do as Muslim, for example, why we pray, why we eat halal food, why we follow the halal zabiha method, why do we cover our aura in a certain way? Why? Most of it because we are Muslim, and then we follow we follow the commandment of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. So like we can give reasons. Like for example, the halal meat, we can give reason why. We can give the hikmah, we can give the ayat Quran, we can give the hadith, and then share to them the reason. But what we want to try is, for example, when this Husni, can you mute your mic?
Oh, okay. Sorry. It's so.
So when you get a question like this, this is actually a very good question. So you want to tell your friend this is actually a very good question, and for you to really understand the answer, that the reason why we have to choose the meat we eat, or we have to slaughter our animals a certain way, then we can eat it. The real You can only understand the answer if I explain to you a certain fundamental basic about Islam. So you bring that topic, specific topic, to the real topic, which is why do you believe in Allah, or why do you believe in God in the first place? So you want to bring from that question to Gorab. So the thing that you should ask, like, okay, it's a very good question. Actually, to understand the answer, you have to understand certain basics. So these are the reason why we believe in God. Then you start explaining, okay, this is actually why we believe in God. Does it make sense? So you want to have that agreement. So when you enter that discussion, you want them to agree. Do you have some time that I can explain to you? If you want to know the answer for that, I can. You have to know about this, right? So you try to go to the God. So this is why we believe in God. This is why this is the characteristics of God that is most likely to be so, and this is why we believe in one God, and then this is why we believe in revelation. There's a need of revelation, and this is why we believe in the Prophet Muhammad. So if they agree all of this, then automatically all the other questions becomes easy to answer, because the answer would be we do this because we worship, we believe, we submit. Because I'm a Muslim, what is the meaning of Muslim? Muslim means I submit and surrender to the will of God. So how do we know that God asked me to follow this rule? How do we know that this is what God wants? So I know this because God has sent revelation. So who give that revelation? So why do you believe in that revelation? Why do you believe that it's a revelation? That's why you already discussed. We already discussed in God, right? What is the characteristic of revelation? Why is it logically the revelation must be there must be a revelation for us to know if there is a God or not. Uh, Only revelation, if that revelation is from God, and whatever that revelation says, it must be true because it's from God, the Almighty, the Most Wise, and God created us. God knows what best for us. So you have to convince, or you have to, that is the way for you to discuss. Otherwise, you can have many answers, and it might be good answers, but it doesn't address the real question. The real question is why you're a Muslim. So if you can convince, or you can make a case. When you say convince, it doesn't mean that they have to agree, but at least they can see there's a strong reason for us to believe this is the truth. So that's one way. That's one way. That is the key of uh, we use the key of rationality lah. We use Gorab, key of rationality, to answer that question. So once they understand that, then we can answer. So now you have seen, you have understand that why we believe in God, why we believe in revelation, why we believe in Prophet Muhammad. So why do we that is what has been taught. So you can share. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, the Prophet of God, he said, when you kill, you have to kill in the best manner. فَأَحْسِنُوا ذِبْحَ إِذَا قَتَلَ فَأَحْسِنُوا قِتْلَ. When you kill in the best way. When you slaughter in the best way. These are the way that we slaughter. And then the Prophet in the Quran, it says to kill, and then you have to cut the jugular vein, the trachea, esophagus, and the jugular vein, and you have to let the flow out, and then we cannot eat animals that are killed in the name other than God, because we believe that God created every animal, God created all life, and if you want to take any life, we have to ask permission from the giver of life. So when take we take halal food, it's actually the right of the animal. It's actually the right of the animal to be killed in a halal way because the creator of that animal give that right. I am not the creator of the animals. So some people they are, for example, if you're Taiwanese, some people they go vegetarian. Why they go vegetarian? Because they feel we don't have any rights to take the life of the animal. But for Muslim, we also believe the same. We don't have the right to take any animals because all animals are actually coming from God. My life is from God. The animals is from God. The plant is from God. So only God can decide which one can be consumed, which one isn't. And because I believe in God, because why I believe in God, tadi kita dah bincang. We already talked in Goret. So this is more useful for you to give the answer after you explain Goret. You explain the Goret. If you just go to the answer without going to explaining why we believe in God, why do we believe in Quran, why do we believe in Prophet, all answer is just information for them. They will just, oh, okay, okay, but they don't. It doesn't help them to understand the bigger picture. So same for the animal seems I will use it. You can just go to my answer. For example, oh, we believe that this is the right of the animals, whether fish, whether it's insect. How do you know you can which animal you can eat or which animal you cannot eat? Who decide? For Muslim, we believe in God and God decide. If I have a chicken and the chicken die because I hit the head, or I was somebody killed the chicken by throwing stones many times until the chicken die, and then the chicken was in pain and everything. I don't have the right to eat the animal because the God, the creator of the animal, doesn't give me that right. As a Muslim, we follow the rights. Everything has rights. The clothing, I cannot wear the clothing that is revealing because I'm not allowed to, because it's the right of my body to be covered in a proper way, and that right is decided by God. But if you don't believe in God, kalau if they don't believe in God, that answer is not very convincing, or it doesn't really help them anyway. It's just they just know it as a culture. But if you already explain in the beginning of the question, you said, okay, I have to explain the basic. Then you explain why we believe in God, why do we believe. Then everything will make sense, inshallah. So why do we pray 5 times a day? What kind of answer you can give? We pray 5 times a day because in the salat it helps us to avoid munkar, bad things and everything. Okay, that's an answer. Uh, Aqimi salat al-zikri. We perform salat because we want to remember God. Okay, that's another answer. We pray 5 times a day because of the Prophet. That's how the Prophet instruct us to do, and then we do not create anything in the religion. We only follow from the. But that's all answers, but it doesn't help them to understand Allah, to know Allah actually. So we want to take all the question. What I'm trying to do, why I ask you, give me a question. You can give any question about the age of Aisha or why Mary fought. All the questions that are there you can only understand the answer if you understand the basic of Islam. So then, if they agree, then you start talking. So what you have to focus is actually to talking about Allah, introducing them God, introducing them Tawheed, introducing to them Quran, and then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then you can start answering the question. Okay, so Sister Novi asks, also right here, my friend said religion is just a culture made by human. So there is no one real religion that is suitable for all human because every nation have their own culture. So same also you can use this. Oh, that's a very good opinion. That's a very good thought. Uh, so because we don't want
Actually,
to.
he's my boss. So like
Okay.
I must make a debate with my boss. I'm afraid. Wow.
So in
please
even
please.
in this statement, say yeah, that's a very good statement. So if your boss is also in science, you can say that. Can you You can also like ask, because we don't want to debate. The Gorep doesn't really work in a. You can use it for debate as well, but it's actually more of when we do the sharing, right? So when they say your boss or your friends say, "Oh, religion is just a culture made by human," so there's no real religion. I'm saying, okay, that's very nice observation. Why don't I? Do you have any? Do you have sometimes where I can share why I believe in God? Maybe, and then we'll see.
Mhm.
Then we can see where the conversation can take us. Because these
Okay.
are comments. So you said, okay, that's a very good remark. That's a very good statement. Uh, I would agree to a certain extent, but I would probably slightly disagree. But why don't I share with you why I believe this is true, and let's see whether you can agree or disagree. Mean that you try to bring any inquiry that they have, you try to bring the discussion to Gorab. So that's why you have to know your Gorab uh, fairly well. So it's like, okay, this is why we believe in God. Do you have any other alternative from this?
Mhm.
For example, believing in God. So do you have any alternative that says God doesn't exist? What is your reason to believe so? So these are my reason. These are my reason why I believe God is one. Do you have any other reason to believe otherwise? Okay, you say any uh, religion is a culture. Everything. That is all language, because we don't say Islam can be a religion. It can be a culture. Islam also is a way of life. Islam is also a concept. So it's just not religion. So if you say maybe what he means by religion is just a culture, that's true. That's not wrong. But when you say there's no one real religion, maybe that's true. But what we are not talking about religion, we are talking about God. If there is a God, do you believe there is truth? So that then you go back to the real topic, which is the God. So it's okay. This is what God says. This is what do you believe that revelation? So if God exists, God is one. Revelation is there, is true. Quran is indeed revelation from God, and Prophet Muhammad is indeed a prophet of God. So it doesn't matter which is it nation, which culture, which language, because it's independent from these four. It's independent from these four. Because when you say just a culture, no, I'm Indonesian. I have my own. I mean, we have Indonesian culture, and we are Muslim. In Malaysia, we are Malaysian. They are Muslim. In India, there is Indian Muslim. There's an Indian Hindu. So then you can, after Gore, then you can address this statement, because without making sure uh, the Gore is agreed, then all other answer is just opinion. It's just a discussion. Your boss will have their own thoughts. You will have your own thoughts. You will have your own philosophy. He will have own philosophy. But Gore, when you bring into Gore, there's an agreement. So once you discuss about God, you have to listen to their response. What do you think? Does it make sense? Okay, does it make sense? Did this whole universe come up from nothing? Does it make sense that this world created by itself? Or does it make sense that there is a creator that is uncreated that create this whole universe? Because there's a beginning. We have a history, means there's a beginning. So what is the best explanation that we know so far? So you can go by through. Okay, this God must be one. The all powerful must be one, because infinite cannot be more than all. You're gonna have two all powerful. If there is two all powerful or three all powerful, they are not all powerful because it's three. So which one is more powerful than the other? So there must be one all powerful. When you say all powerful, right? There must be one all creator that is not created. Yeah. Okay. Then if they agree that, then you move to the next. Okay. There must be, if that creator does exist, the only way that we can know is not by your brain or my brain or any scientist's brain or any philosopher brain. There must be revelation that God must communicate with us. Otherwise, maybe He doesn't care, or we can just do whatever we want. So if there is revelation, there must be a certain criteria, right? There must be certain criteria, right? If it's from
Yes.
God, all perfect. If God is perfect, the revelation must also doesn't have any contradiction, right? If there's a book that says it's from God, but that book has many mistakes, would you accept it as a revelation from God? So probably you say no. I also said no. But if there's book is transcendent in nature. It couldn't be written by human being. It has a it doesn't have any contradict. It doesn't contradict the content within itself. It doesn't contradict with the natural observation of what we have in the world. So this at least this is the minimum criteria. Would you agree? Okay, if they agree, then you continue. Okay, this is the Quran. This is the preservation of the Quran. It doesn't change the pronunciation of the Quran. It doesn't change. We have the tajweed of the Quran. Means each letter of the Quran is being preserved. If I say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, if I just Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I'm wrong. Why? Because the mean it has to be ma'arik sukun. It has to be long. Why? Who determine it? Because it is preserved. The sound is preserved. The tajweed is preserved. Do you have any other books that has preservation up to that level that claim to be from God? So naturally, no. What are the books? What are other books other than the Quran that claim to be from God? Okay, they will say, okay, maybe the Bible, or maybe this. So let's try the characteristic that we have just spoke about just now. Does it consistent? Is it preserved? Is it from? Do we know who is it from? Do we know who's the author? Do we know whether it has mistakes or not? Historical mistake, scientific mistake, geographical mistake, biological mistake. Do we have that? Can we check? Okay, naturally, okay. So the which one? So most likely for me, I believe that Quran is indeed have a high percentage. Like for me, I accept it, but even for you, at least you can agree that there is a high percentage that it is from God. Okay, let's say who brought the Quran. So the Quran is brought by a guy, a man that come 1,400 years ago in the middle of the desert. Okay, what is his story? What is his character? What is his? What the other people say about him? What do we have? What records do we have about him that we have now that we can 100% sure is from him? Okay, we have mutawatir, we have hadith, chain of narration, we have isnad. Do we have any other same level of academic preservation for others? So we go from this, then you can go for you can address about religion is just a culture made by human. So there is no one religion. There's no one truthness.
Mm.
So then it makes he understand in a wider spectrum. He doesn't have to agree, but he can see the truth. Like okay, the statement that there is no true religion because we know there is a false religion. Do you agree? So you can ask it. Do you agree that there is a false religion? What is
Mm.
if he means religion is a way of life? Of course, there's so many way of life. Buddhism is a way of life. Diet is a way of life. Vegetarianism is a way of life. Vegan is a way of life. If you mean religion is a way of life or culture, then that it can be true. But if you define religion as a, a truth given by God or a way of life that is guided by God, then of course there must be absolute truth. There must be one that is true because God is one. God is true. If God is true, whatever He gives is true. Uh, so then you can do and then you can expand. You can expand lah. Then you can expand. For example, Islam doesn't claim to that Islam is right, all the other religion is wrong. Islam claim that it is the final revelation. It is the final form. So when the common mistake that we try to do, many people try to do, is to compete with other religion. So we blame Hinduism, we blame Buddhism, we blame Christianity, we blame Judaism. No, we are Islam says that we come to confirm, to reaffirm, to re-establish, to revive the original message of all these previous religions. So Islam doesn't come as a new religion. Islam is from Adam, and then throughout the world, maybe there's different name, in different languages, different name, but the concept is to submit the one to the one true God. So these are the frame. You can use Gorak first as the frame. Any question that comes to you, halal ke, meat ke, or this philosophy ke, you go to Gorak first, then you can expand the answer.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
Ustaz Nanda.
Jazakumullahu khayran, Ustaz.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay, thank you for the key answer. Before I I never to answer like this because when my friend asked me, I just answer to my friend because before I have already read about some research talk about when milk that cut with basmala, when milk that cut without the basmala, it's different what is it different effect. It's contain but contain another bacteria because of the when we cut uh, animal with basmala, it's make the meat is what is it pure. The meat is not contain but the bird. Because of that, I just explained to my friend. And another said that he has a following question. He compare with seafood. So and he asked me, so how about the seafood? I think you cannot say it basmala when you make the seafood is die. So how about this one? How about the blood? How about the what's the condition about seafood? Is I cannot answer this one because
Yeah, exactly, brother Husni. Hello, hello.
Maybe he has some problem with the connection.
Yeah, that's okay. So Kusnandar he also wrote
Yeah,
something in the
yeah,
message.
Bapak Kusnandar.
food to non-Muslim.
Oh, okay, brother Husni, you were disconnected towards the end, but I understand what you said. So that's why you have to be trained. If you're not trained, you will focus on answering the question. You will just focus on answering the question in front of you, and that's normal. Like most people, if they are not trained, the instinct is just to give the best answer for that particular question. So that's why in this training, we come with this method because so that you know what to you should share to them. So you always bring the question to the real answer. The real answer is we do it because of Allah. And so why do we believe in Allah? Why do we believe in revelation? If they accept this to be true, then halal is true, hijab is true, Islam is true. Everything becomes easy for them to process because they understood why we believe in the first place. Husni, can you mute your audio?
Okay, okay.
So like if you use the scientific answer, it will not help you actually because the number one that's not the religious answer. It's not from Quran and Sunnah. It's an hikmah. If it's coincide, suddenly you realize, oh, the uh, scientific methodology or the scientific discovery shows that if you slaughter in this way, it's cleaner or it is more healthy. That is something that for Muslim it increases our iman, but for non-Muslim it doesn't make any difference. Like if you ask me, okay, why you if you tell me we when we slaughter we say the Bismillah, uh, it is much healthier. And what? How do you prove it? Which paper? Which dissertation? Which PhD? Which thesis? Who said it? Like where can I see the paper? So is it because of the slaughter or because of the Bismillah? How do you prove the Bismillah becomes the because for Muslim we can eat kosher food by the Jewish. On certain sets, on certain places, also we can also eat the meat slaughtered by the Christian in following certain opinions of faith. Like Christian, the meat from the Ahlul Kitab we can eat. So we do things because of Quran and Sunnah. Actually, in reality, we follow why? Because these are the way that the Prophet ﷺ instructed us to do. So if you tie about okay, we kill because when you kill it becomes this. But what about the seafood? No, we can eat the seafood. Why? Because the Quran says everything inside the sea is permissible. In the Hadith also see everything inside the sea is permissible. As long it doesn't poison you, it doesn't harm you. Whatever in the sea is halal. and but it's a certain fiqh in Hanafi mazhab, like scavengers like prawn, squid, cumi, itu semuanya it's makruh for them. Some is say haram because they are scavengers. They eat the vomit, or they eat the impurity inside the sea. So these are all discussion that will confuse the non-Muslim. But what we want them to understand, we do what we do because of these four, like Quran. Why do we follow Allah? How do we know it's Allah? Why we know Allah is one? Why do we believe in revelation? And why do we believe in the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? And what he when they understand these four, when we do, because we follow the Prophet. Why do we follow the Prophet? Because of this and this and this. We already explained. So it stops many other. It answers many questions if you tell them about the core. Same juga is Kusnandar. You ask about fasting. Muslim doing like Ramadan, Shawwal every Monday, Tuesday. My friend is not a Muslim. Ask me why doing fasting day. So same. When people ask like this is a very good question. You tell them that's a very good question. You can all answer a little bit. For example, oh, do you know what fasting is? Fasting is actually like this, like this, like this. But before I continue to why I do fasting, or why Muslim do fasting in Ramadan, Shawwal, Ramadan, Thursday, it's very important for you to understand the fundamental of Islamic belief. So you have once you understand this, you will appreciate my answer better, or you can understand better the answer that I'm going to give you about this. Do you have some times where I can explain the basic first? Then you can answer. You can ask more question later, inshallah. You can say like that. Then you go back. You go back to the basics. Why do you believe in God? Why do you believe this? Why do you believe in Quran? Why do you believe in this? And then you can tell the purpose of life is this and this and this. So including the paradise. I want to go to paradise. I want to go to heaven, and I want to avoid hell. Everything. Once you discuss God, Iman, and they agree. If they agree, then all the other practice makes sense. So I'm doing fasting. Fasting is actually for taqwa, to increase our faith. So even these are the way that the Prophet and God teach us. If you follow the guidance by God, the Creator Himself, then it's gonna be good for us, because we do not God. We are created to worship God, and if some creation is doing something that is not what he is created for. For example, a cup. You have a cup. The cup is created to drink hot meal, to drink hot soup, or like hot drink, like cha, like tea or something. But you use the cup to for gardening. To garden, to dig holes, to dig dirt or something, and then you're gonna destroy the cup, because that's not why the cup is created. So then you can then, after they understand the purpose of life, they understand God does exist, God is one, God do communicate with human being, and God also have sent messengers. And then by following God, by following the guidance, by following the messengers, then our life will be happy. What is the purpose of life? What do you want? Whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim, everyone actually they want to be happy. Sa'adah. Sa'adah is the purpose. Why do you pray? Because of Allah. But why do you pray because of Allah? Because you want to avoid hell, or you want heaven. Basically, you want to be happy. Why do you want to go heaven? Because you want to be happy. Why do you go to school? You want to get good grades. Why do you want to get good grades? So that I can get good job. Why do you get jobs? I can get good money. Why do you want to get good money? Why? Because of I can live comfortably. Why do you want to live comfortably? So that I can make my parents happy. Or why do you want to make your parents happy? Because I want to become happy. I want a happy life. So happiness is the core, is the end actually. We want to live a happy life. So but we cannot, this life is not created for us to be, this life is created to test us. This life is not like if you are happy now, you can feel happy, but you cannot be happy. Once you now you're happy, you can be sad tomorrow. Tomorrow you're sad, you can be happy again. You can be frustrated, you can be agitated, you can be in pain, you can be sick, you can be healthy. But these are all temporary because this life is a temporary life. And the happiness is the total sum of your life. Whether you live a happy life or you live a miserable life. Uh, so my point being is that is the usage of Gorab. Means Gorab is really really powerful. It's actually being perfected by Abdurrahman Green. It's not, of course, it's not the only way. There's many ways to do da'wah, to approach question and everything. But Gorab is one of the tools that I recommend you. It will be very useful to use with non-Muslim. If you can bring the question to the real. If you cannot explain who is God, then what is the point you explain halal food or fasting or culture? If you can prove like Islamic culture is good, so does it explain God? Doesn't convince it about Allah? No. Uh, if you can explain fasting is a good practice, oh yeah, maybe they will follow you fasting one or twice, maybe once or three times, maybe every Ramadan they can join you iftar, but that's about it. But what you want to really use the question is for to explain God, to explain that there is a very strong reason to believe that there is a creator. So I'm sorry taking so much time because today we start a little bit late.
Sorry, may I ask for suggestion?
Ustadz.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, please.
Uh, Actually, I have a condition like this. I have a friend. He is Muslim, but he 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 eat every chicken and every meat. But my friend non-Muslim asked me beside my friend, and he asked me why your friend can eat chicken meat every chicken and every meat, but why you not eat everything.
Your
My
friend.
question, yes, how to answer polite my friend, the Muslim my friend, and how to polite and how to give a good answer for the non-Muslim.
If it's like a friend, like a good friend, then you can be honest. Uh, but if your friend who's eating every chicken, but he's not eating pork, right?
Yes, it's not eating pork, but eating chicken every chicken.
So he say Bismillah and he eats Bismillah and he eat. It's actually the easy way is actually you ask your friend, like, why don't you ask my friend? Why?
No, no.
uh,
I mean, how to for me when my non-Muslim ask me how to polite to answer for non-Muslim beside when I sit beside my friend. I mean, how to answer my friend non-Muslim, my friend non-Muslim, when my friend non-Muslim ask me why you not eat every chicken, but your friend eat every chicken.
because it's the same. Like maybe for the ladies, maybe some people will ask Novi, for example, why you wear hijab but your friend.
Yeah, I think same with this one.
So it's the same thing. Like we do with things because these are what God has prescribed. This is what the teaching says, right? And then people choose whether they want to follow the traffic light or they don't want to follow the traffic light. So if it's red, then it's red. But in your friend case, you have to really ask your friend because, like, I know when you go in a non-Muslim country, for example, the Arabs, when the Saudi, they also do the same. When they go to a non-Muslim country, they just eat. They go, yeah, yeah, Sheikh, Bismillah, Bismillah. Because in fiqh, there's one, the most easy opinion is when you when it comes to halal, there's two mazhab. The main mazhab is you don't eat until you are sure that is halal. The other mazhab would be the easiest one would be it is halal as long it is not proven haram. So, for example, your friend, maybe he reads somewhere in the book, or he's taking that opinion. He said like, why are you eating that chicken? No, I believe that I'm a Muslim, and Muslims have to eat halal. It has to eat halal. But there's also another contention, like you uh the first kaidah is like everything is halal until uh how do you say that? Al aslu fil ashya al ibaha. Or in the default is halal unless it's proven haram. So in some certain cases, these people, like these Saudi people, when they go out, they use the same principle. Uh, like you don't check the chicken. You don't. How do you know for sure it's not slaughtered by Muslim? So they use the reverse. They use the reverse principle. Because lots of hadith like in by Umar al Khattab, he eat some food, and then a Sahaba say no, this is actually uh, from mushrik, and then these are actually not halal, and then Sayyidina Umar will be angry. It's like you just make my food haram. Means like tell me after I finish my food. So there's also a principle that you don't ask too much. You eat first, because as long as you don't, if you ask, then the answer will be binding. Like if you ask, it's haram, and then you ask the chef, let's say, like, where do you get the chicken? Let's say it's from this market. This market is a Muslim market, not Muslim market. Then you can know for sure it's not slaughtered by Muslim. Means it's 100% haram. But if before you ask, you don't know. So there's 50-50. So if you cannot prove it's haram, then it must be halal. So these are a minority, which is I don't practice this. Because why? Because in Islam we have ghalibatul zon. We have the ghalib, which is uh, unlikely. For example, Taiwan. In Taiwan, we know for a fact 99.99% is a non-Muslim country. So there is the higher percentage is 99.99%. The chicken that they serve, that they put in the restaurant, is not halal. There is ghalibatu zon, means it's impossible for them. It's impossible to say it's halal unless they say it's purchased from Muslim. So in that sense, the fiqh will say that I practice would be, but it cannot be halal. But there are some people who make these things very very easy. So if you are traveling alone, for example, you're traveling alone in the village, inside the 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 in the island where you are the only Muslim, then it will not create fitnah. You can do that for sometimes even for da'wah also. People serve you. If it's not the zahiri, outwardly it's halal, then you eat Bismillah, you eat. In the fiqh, in Sharia, you can do that actually. But when you are in a community, it's a business, it's a modern, now it's 2020, you can use your phone, you can use internet and everything. So you can, it's difficult, it's not consistent, because if you eat, for example, your friend, he actually used that opinion. He said that, okay, actually I follow the opinion. If it's not proven haram, means I can eat with Bismillah. Bismillah, eat and live to Allah. And it's also in fiqh. In one of the mazhab, you can do that. But if you do that, there's another problem. It will create confusion in the community. Even the non-Muslim will be confused about the concept halal and haram. So in that position, you should follow where the majority. You should follow the common. For example, in Taiwan, most of the community are Indonesian. The Muslims are Indonesian. So if one or two of you do that, then you disrupt the whole community. You disrupt the whole, and then you create confusion among the non-Muslim, and it will slow the da'wah to the non-Muslim, because you confuse people. You take what you call it, pendapat yang ganjil. We call it the minority opinion that is secluded. It's not strong. It's not a strong opinion, but it's an opinion. Uh, but you don't normally, when you want to talk this to your non-Muslim friends, while your friend is actually there, that is quite challenging, because I myself, when I was in Taiwan, I faced this situation as well. But my friend It's easy if your friend is actually not religious. Means he does that because he's not religious. It's easier to explain. You just explain. You just explain the way that you explain the traffic light. Okay, these are the rules. These are the standard. These are the standard. This is halal characteristic. You slaughter. It has to be by Muslim. You read the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. But why do my friend still eats? Maybe then you can try to defend because maybe because he believes that the chicken is halal. While I cannot accept. I believe it is very likely that this chicken is not halal. That's why I don't eat it. As simple as that. But both of us, we believe that we should eat halal chicken. It's just the difference is he eat it because he think it's halal. I eat it. I don't eat it because I don't think it's halal. Then your friend will not be affected that much. Do you understand?
Yes, I get the point. Thank you very much for the suggestion.
Do you understand? Like, do you know this opinion or not? Did you
Ah,
know
yes,
about it?
yes, I get. Yes, I know. I know. I understand what's this opinion.
Yeah, because some, for example, in the West, the most difficult thing that they try to in the different of it is, for example, the food, the cooking wine. You know the cooking wine, the issue of the cooking wine.
Uh, I don't know about that.
Like
Cooking
for
one.
example, like the Chinese or the Japanese or in the West, they use lots of dishes, lots of menu. They put
Of
some
the
alcohol.
ingredients. Oh,
Yeah, it's ingredient. It's not for drinking, but it's for ingredient for cooking.
normally they will use it for bakery.
Yeah, for bakery, make ice cream, to bake cookies. In China, even in Taiwan, lots of dishes. Even vegetarian, no. Even in vegan restaurant, they use alcohol. They use red wine. Or in Japan, they use like mirin, or they use sake to cook many dishes. The base is actually sake. As much as we love to put chili in our food, they like to put this cooking wine. So in
Oh.
in the West, they have a different opinions. Like some would say, okay, if it's not you who buy because you cannot buy Muslim alcohol, there are 9 groups. There are la'natullah. It's like a curse by Allah. The one who grow the grape, the one who brew the grape, anggur, the grape to make alcohol, the one who make the alcohol, the one who drink the alcohol, the one who sell the alcohol, the one who carry the alcohol, the one who these are the 9, if I'm 9 in the mention in the hadith. So you cannot buy it, you cannot drink it, you cannot. But in the Quran it says, "Hurimat alaikum lahmul khinzir." You are not supposed to eat you cannot rijsun min amal shaitan is to drink alcohol. Khamar, innal khamr wal maisir. Verily in the intoxicant, the khamar is alcohol, right? And then maisir, the gambling, is from the rijs min amal shaitan, is from the practice of the shaitan, from the Satan. So they said if people serve you the cake, and then the cake has actually they use alcohol, but in the cake itself there's no more alcohol, because alcohol when you use it, it evaporates, it doesn't exist anymore. So when they serve you, you can eat it, bismillah, eat it, because that is not, there's no alcohol there, there's nothing, the cake itself is not intoxicating. But if you are the one who use the in your cooking, you cannot, because you are the one who use it, you are the one who have to buy, you cannot buy it. You cannot buy the alcohol, the ingredient, the cooking wine. You cannot buy it because it's wine. You can drink it and you can get intoxicant. You cannot use it because it's alcohol. But this is not, you're not the ones to use it. It's already on your table and you are given. And that food doesn't have alcohol. They use alcohol when they cook it, but it's not, doesn't contain alcohol anymore at that time. So some of the scholars in the West, they say it's okay if somebody serve you, but you cannot buy. So these are all the discussion in fiqh that are being discussed, which is irrelevant for the non-Muslim to know. But these are the things. That is why when you talk about Sharia or you talk about fiqh, you answer fiqh question with the non-Muslim, it will not help in the da'wah. It will make people confused because in fiqh there's a different of opinion. If you are very good in it, you can explain it very well that people can understand. But if you don't, you're not really good, and sometimes the explanation makes people confused, which is actually not very good. So you just go to the standard. You just when you do da'wah, you go back to the main topic, which is who is God, who is oneness of God. And once you become Muslim, then you can start discussing the details, the details of faith. I mean, if they want to learn, if they are not interested, you can just follow one mazhab. You can just follow one and then live your life. Learn your farda'ain and khalas. Because if you want to learn so many things, for us, because we are living in a non-Muslim country, so you should try to explore. You should try to learn uh, the fiqh of the fiqh of the land, so you know what's happening, because it's not the same. You're not in Malaysia, you're not in Indonesia, so there are certain things. Islam is much more bigger than what we know. So in terms of academic discussion, Allahu alam. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much for the answer and
Mhm.
suggestion.
Okay, Kusnandar, are you okay? Bapak
Bapak
Kusnandar.
Kusnandar, yang mengenai pertanyaannya tadi bagaimana? Apakah sudah terjawab?
Brother Iwan pun senyap.
Bapak
Iwan
Iwan, apakah ada pertanyaan atau hal-hal yang mau didiskusikan?
Oh,
Ya,
syukran. Kusnandar telah
Ustaz.
tulis.
Terima kasih banyak Bapak.
InsyaAllah,
Jazakumullahu.
InsyaAllah nanti we will make uh, the next session would be, I will cover the rest of the five keys. We already finished one key, which is a key of rationality.
The key,
Key,
Gorab is the key of the rationality?
yes, Gora is just one key.
Oh,
Gora is one of the
okay.
key. We have another five key.
Hmm.
So we have the key of spirituality, the key of experience, the key of wahi. So these are all the things. Uh, Alhamdulillah, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Hmm.
Uh, so when you know all the six keys, then you know which one to use. For example, we in the beginning, I shared with you three case study. The first case study is when you are at work. There's one situation. You are at work. John, which is your colleague, uh, John asks you many questions, and you answer question by question by question. You just answer the question, and then the time finishes, and you all go back to work. So answering question doesn't help in the da'wah. So the solution should be, you should bring John, to take John to know about the Gorak first. And then the second situation is David. David is your friend, and then suddenly David, you talk about religion, and David says, actually I believe in God, but after my mom died, my belief in God also died. So I think God doesn't exist anymore. So at that in that situation, you cannot use Gorat. You cannot use why God exists. No, God exists because of this and that. You know the distance between the sun and the moon, the sun and the earth. The earth, how big is the sun? How big is the earth? And if the sun is closer 1 millimeter to the earth, and no life can exist, etc., etc. You don't see the creation, how beautiful, how magnificent, the law of gravity, the law of physics. These are all indicator of there is a one supreme creator. You don't say that to David, because his reason for not believing in God is not because of intellectual. It because he is sad, he is upset, he is disappointed with God because his mother passed away. So in that situation, what you should do is actually not use the key of intellectual or rational. You should use the key of experience, or the key of emotion. You should maybe just I'm sorry to hear about your mom. Maybe let's go eat some pizza. I'll buy you some pizza. I'll buy you some hot chocolate. What do you think? So that is the better key in that situation. So these are because we are doing da'wah to people. That's why we have to understand the people and the situation. So inshallah that will be we will continue. Inshallah another one or two session, or maybe next Monday I will just finish all the five keys because very straightforward. And after that, we will start a new series which is mentoring. Not new series, but another topic, which is small, which is to how to help new Muslim and
Oh yeah.
how to mentor new Muslim. When people become Muslim, how do you help them? How do you mentor them? So that's also there is a technique, or there is certain steps that you can take and you have to know. Knowing if you are trained is actually better than not training. Otherwise you just try and error. But if you at least have some guidance or learn from this course, inshallah, it will help you to help new Muslim in the future, inshallah.
Inshallah.
For example, now you have your friend asking about what do you asking about the halal food. That is a question. But Husni or Kusnandar, if are you ready if your friend that asks you, if that friend become Muslim, how do you guide him? How do you guide her? What do you teach first? What do you teach second? What do you ask first? What do you ask second? uh, how do you communicate, when you should meet, where you should meet. So these things, it can happen naturally, you can try and error, but if at least if you attend this course, inshallah you can have an overview and learn from our experience, and then you can create your own style, or you can create your own way that is suitable in your condition, inshallah.
Yes,
Sorry.
inshallah.
Okay, let's end this, inshallah, brother. I give back to Sister Novi.
Yeah, thank you so much. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for all of your meaningful knowledge to us. We learned a lot of things tonight. Yeah, inshallah, we'll meet again next week with the other key of the experience. Once again, Jazakumullahu khayran, Ustadz Syafiq Apandi. Thank you so much for brothers and sister. Oh, there's no other sister. Okay, just me. Brothers who already joined today's session. We have Brother Husni, Brother Yakin, Brother Iwan, Brother Kusnandar. May Allah give you all the best rewards in this dunya and in hereafter. Okay, let's we close our today's sessions by reciting doa kafaratul majelis. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta.
Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oh, jazakallah Ustaz. Jazakumullah khairan brothers.